Okay guys, sorry, a bit of a delay this morning with the sound. I just noticed, no one's told me that to just noticed it there. Good morning guys. um, Sorry about the sound issue there. Hopefully there's sound now. Right, okay. I'll just run through very briefly what I've just been speaking about, and unfortunately it's not being recorded, so for those that are still sitting there, okay. Today, just key things here. Then inflation come out higher than expected, higher than, well, same height as last time. On the consumer price index, the also looked at the PPI data. That was all a lot less, well under expectation. So a bit of a mixed overall report there. PPI is the producers price index. In other words, producers inflation is going down, which might have a knock-on effect in due course. Today we've got speakers, Fed chairs speaking there at 3 p.m. testifying. That may well create some volatility. We'll see what happens there, but there are a couple of other speakers, one at 9 o'clock, an ECB speaker this morning. Let's get on and look at these markets. Okay, so looking firstly at the euro US dollar, and well, it's just slowly coming off here, still arguably in the uptrend, but the overall picture here is not looking particularly good. I mean, if we were looking at flags, we'd be thinking, well, yeah, there's a potential break above the highs there yesterday. I was looking personally yesterday at this sort of flaggy pattern, waiting for the break of the highs here. It was a continuation. Never happened. A bit of patience there paid off. We're getting closer and closer to this weekly pivot. There's a potential then that will be hit. There's good probability that weekly pivots are hit themselves. We've already seen the daily pivot being hit. S1 below again. We could just see a continuation of this morning. Just wait until post 8 o'clock, but does look on the soft side there. Looking at the pound dollar. So the pound dollar here, up on the news this morning, but already caught the pivot. Now this was sort of leading the pack, well, has been leading the pack a little bit. It's a bit stronger than the euro at least in terms of visuals. The fact that it's hit the weekly pivot, well, might help it on the upside here. Might see a bit more bounce. However, we've seen quite a quick reaction to that move through this early session, but that could all change and we could see a continuation post 8 o'clock. So I'm still holding out there, having seen it hit the 4 hourly pivot. There we go, the weekly pivot, beg pardon. There is a chance. One thing with this is the resistance levels that we got here, so it doesn't make it massively attractive. We've got the resistance levels, we've got this quarterly pivot sitting here, and we've got the monthly R2 which is just above, so it may just stall the pound. Okay, US dollar yen. What we're looking at here then is, sorry, just got to do a bit of muting. There we go. US dollar yen. The yen softening again this morning. It was made a bit of a decent move yesterday in a sense, but not tradable for me anyway. Not trading against this move. Well, it's just curled all the way back up there. Quite ugly at the moment. It's very difficult to look for decent trades off this. So best thing is leave it alone. Aussie US dollar. There are things that are looking better. This Aussie US dollar we're seeing a continuation of the sell-off here. It's really looking quite bearish where it's sitting here. We've broken the trend. I was looking at the 50 EMA, I think it was yesterday morning. That didn't hold, and it's breaking down here, looking quite soft where it is. Nice thing is it's come back up to the pivot. Unfortunately, I've missed the bear flag entry, and it's a little bit off there. I mean, yeah, it's too much off there. just looking at a target, but it's absolutely perfect setup. Okay, US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD here. CAD softened against the US. US has been pushing up against it. It's just looking soft again every time it sort of starts getting a bit sort of stronger. The CAD, it's giving up at the moment. This might be just a weaker US dollar coming. Stronger US dollar coming through. Seeing it across against the European markets. And well, pushing up here, it had a bit of a reaction to the weekly pivot yesterday. Unfortunately, no real follow through on this today at the moment, but we'll see. But looking a tad on the softer side. New Zealand dollar following the Aussie, really. It's caught a little bit of a bid earlier on, but coming off again at the moment. It really is the whipping boy of the markets, and it looks quite nice. That could be quite decent for a move back continuation onto the S1. We'll see what happens there, but so just link that on. So yep, New Zealand dollar looks like it's got some potential. Euro yen not really going anywhere at the moment. It's been an odd one. It's consolidating around the highs there, continuing to look like it's threatening to push up again. Had a bit of divergence off the 4-hour list here, but caught the bounce. The retail market, depending on which brokers you're looking at, the retail market are something like, some of them up to nearly 95% are short on the euro yen. Wouldn't take much to get knock these all out, have a short squeeze. Euro pound, where we've just seen a reaction of the news there, continues to slide back again this morning, and well, it was gaining quite well, the euro against the pound yesterday, but all back to normal, and we'll see what happens come 8 o'clock when we get some more volumes pushing through here, but it does still look bearish there. Euro Aussie, well, Euro's making a bit of ground back. Sorry, start off there. Yeah, starting to push back up against the Aussie there at this stage. Nothing immediately. Yeah, it's already gone too far in terms of what's happening here. It could push on a bit further into the R1 there. It's a shame it hasn't actually caught the pivot, because in fact, the fact that it hasn't caught the pivot, this could continue on through the morning towards the R2. I say through the morning, through the day. Euro CAD caught me yesterday, and it was looking earlier on like it was going to break down through this trend line. This is really what I'm waiting for now. Break of those lows, break of this trend line to the downside, get a continuation. But that's not happening at this stage, and it's bouncing, and it's a jolly big mess. So when it gets like this, best avoided. Pound Aussie's similar mess-ish. You're seeing mess on some of these. Yes, we've seen a bit of a move at the moment. Pound CAD here pushing up that data. Now again, with the softening of the CAD, we could see a move for the weekly R1, which is above there. Looking at this short-term time frame, where the day is almost over here for it, but it's got some scope. Of course, we've had the news out there. We could have a bigger day, and I'm looking at those prior highs on this point, from this point, but risk reward probably doesn't fit too well. Pound yen, no surprise here to see a continuation in the hourly pictures, but looking at the continuation, really not looking to do anything on that one way or the other. Been sitting in this for a couple of days. Okay, well, it's got some scope on the downside here. Glad the swap rates ain't mad. Yeah, got some scope just to continue on the side, sort of bearish flag. This is Pepperstone prices. They do tend to have quite a mess. In fact, let's just check that against. Looking at New Zealand, if I can find it, New Zealand dollar CAD. You see, it's not so messy. It's a cleaner bit of price action. Depending on the broker you're looking at, sometimes they get that 10 o'clock. It just shows you how much it's sort of moving around 10 o'clock. You can often pick out the 10 o'clocks on some of these. There you go, 10 o'clock on this bar here. You've got to be careful. If you get, you never want to have tight stops around 10 o'clock in the evening, or tighten your stops just before them. Anyway, this is looking like it's got some further potential to the downside here. Right, that's pretty much it. There's for now. So you've got a couple of options. You've got New Zealand US dollar. Maybe it's the cleaner one. I don't know. Actually, looking at the New Zealand CAD, it looked better. But either way, they're both trending to the downside. So there's the pick of the morning. Let's look at then switch markets here. Going across. Look at gold. So, and look at it from a daily perspective, continue to be ugly and probably best avoided. I mean, it's erring to the downside for sure, and we saw yesterday, but it was all in one bar there. Looking pretty ugly there. So it's all in one bar. It wasn't. It's over. Well, 1 4 hour session, but. Looking at it, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That was it. It was all gone. Okay, so nothing there that's interesting. Oil. Again, for me, it's too range bound. It's not looking good at all. Best avoided. When it's like this, short-term moves, you may pick something up, but not great. Equity markets, well, there's no shock then. The CSI 300 back into the bearish zone properly and continue to the downside again today. Soft, the Nikkei slightly up on the close. Funny old day, gap down but pushed back up there. It remains the sweetheart of the markets there. The Nifty 50 also still hanging in up there. It's still got some before close, but it's still looking very bullish. Aussie 200 gave us a good move up yesterday, or last couple of days I should say. Come off this morning though, not looking quite so good. We've run into those prior highs. Maybe this is a reaction from that as traders coming, profit taking, selling. Flaggy looking on the 4 hourly, and I mean we did have quite a solid old move up there. Be interesting to see if this just continues dropping over. We do have the weekly pivot way below. Not looking great here. Structurally it's changed on the hourly, so there are signs on this. I mean, as I say, it's still flaggy, and you can have a little ABC, which we've seen there. It needs to do something relatively quickly if it was to be bullish. It's retracing quite quickly, quite solidly. So, yep, not looking the brightest at the moment, but could do. I should watch for the opening of the market. The US E-minis, US 500 as it's often known. Got the flag here on the dailies still kicking through there. This sort of hawkish talk from the Fed not helping things really at the moment, but it was deserving a retracement. You just sort of see the market just pushing up quite so strong. No surprise to see some sort of retracement here. Coming down the time frame just a moment on this, and well, it doesn't look too bright at the moment, but things could change. If it gets back above the pivot and these highs here, it could be. I mean, it's a flaggy pattern that's sitting there, but not the nicest. Look, actually, it's a much cleaner looking flag on the bigger time frames. Dow, similar flaggy sort of patterns, sold off a little bit more yesterday, coming off again at the moment. So a lot of the Nasdaq, a lot of these markets are down this morning. Nasdaq once again seems to be little to stop it. And did we have this bar yesterday? Is this yesterday's bar? This is a dead feed. I just noticed. Okay, I need to have a look at a new feed for the Nasdaq. Do apologise. Thought that looks a bit weird. Thought, hang on, it's a bit deja vu. Seen that before. The CAC, the DAX even. I was looking at the French market and calling out the DAX. DAX continued to its southbound trip here for now. It looked a bit bearish yesterday and it choked itself up, but it's sort of like a pennant picture sort of coming out there. We're seeing the breakdown of that at this moment. There you go. It sold off first things, but really looking quite soft. Okay, see you later. Right, that is pretty much it on the oh, did I say forget the FTSE? FTSE's off here again. This looks like a sell to me on the sell side, and well, that high inflation's not helped things at all this morning. Seeing this market coming off, and again, as with the pound, I think, well, we'll see if we get a continuation. We could well see a continuation of this to the downside. It's not good news. Quickly then, looking across at the world of cryptos, Bitcoin. Let's just look at here. Bitcoin catching the bounce here. A bit of continuation. Not 100% sure what happened there yesterday, but whatever. We're seeing the push through here. I did see something, and I've forgotten what it was. I saw something in the news, but Ethereum following suit. Just when they're all looking really bearish, they start getting a bit of a kicker back in. Perhaps they heard me say, well, these look bearish. I'm just looking at the way this has moved yesterday. I mean, it's in a full bear move. Even the bear flag didn't break to the lower side of that bar, but Bitcoin, yeah, getting quite a buy in there. Chainlink still looking bearish. That'll turn it up. Certainly, yeah, it's got a couple of days upside here, but still looking pretty bearish here. Litecoin looking a bit more positive, but still, I mean, they're horrible choppy markets, majority of them. XRP, Ripple, short term's coming off. It's not really pushing up massively, and it's been such a horrible, messy market. Okay, I'll leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading. As I say, probably the best of the currencies is the New Zealand dollar or the New Zealand CAD, both looking reasonable. Have a great day. Bye for now.